السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, that Assalamu alaikum was quite interesting. Assalamu
Can it-
alaikum.
no, keep going. Start
Welcome
again.
to the... Bro, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Just let it flow. Remember what happened with the not interrupting? Yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
it's annoying.
Let it flow. It's
Don't annoy
annoying to
me.
you.
Don't annoy me.
No, it's annoying to you.
It's over the top.
No, it's not. It's annoying to you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Masjid Carpark Podcast, episode 43. Assalamu alaikum.
44.
44. Welcome to the Masjid Carpark, episode 44. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Lata.
Alaikum salam, brother Wajid.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh Maulana. I can't think of another title right now that's appropriate. Khalid,
Assalamu rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
what happened to your scarf? I was waiting to start this podcast with you with the scarf on, so I could call you Chacha.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, how's your phone?
It's cold. I've got sort of
It is
flu
cold.
or
It is cold.
something
Yeah.
or other.
Welcome to Melbourne winter. Are we in winter? Yeah, we had the first day of winter a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Mashallah.
How long do you reckon this one's going to go for? Winters are getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, mashallah.
Mashallah.
It's been raining.
Do you prefer winter or summer?
I think lots of people do prefer the winter.
When you hold the cup, hold it here to the camera so we go,
Yeah.
oh,
No, it's
Product placement.
It's okay, but this flu that is going around and everybody's copying it, and
yeah.
it's not the flu. That was just a cough.
yeah, no, but like people,
Clearing the
like
throat.
I've got this sort of nasal thing in. I had headaches last night,
Have you done your COVID test?
and I was okay. Yeah, I've done the test. It's fine.
And?
It's not COVID.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. COVID?
Huh?
Not COVID?
COVID?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Lada, what's going on? How has your week been?
Uneventful. You know how my weeks are.
Yeah.
I never do anything exciting. I mean, nothing exciting that I can talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like none of the stories I can talk about, like some of the stories I told you in the car.
This is more work-related stuff. That's what we're talking about. So can't
Yeah.
really talk about that kind of stuff.
And how about you, Dr. Shaykh Maulana?
Busy, and the next 3 months are going to be very busy. So I've got a jam-packed schedule.
How come?
I'm teaching a course at PGCC for the next 10 weeks.
What's the course on?
It's on the branches of Iman.
The branches of Iman.
Yeah, the hadith of the Prophet
Sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
that the Iman is 60 or 70 or so branches. The highest is
Yeah.
saying La ilaha illallah, the lowest is removing something harmful from the road, and that modesty, haya, is a branch of Iman. So since there are six, so one Imam
I need to grow that branch.
went through the books, hadith collection, ayat Quran, and they came up with what those 77 branches are.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a book
MashaAllah.
which alhamdulillah had a sort of retranslated and published, and so made a course out of that, 10-week course, 10 1.5-hour sessions. So we just had that session on Monday, the first one, 50 students, mashallah, like face to face, not online. So alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
So it's 77 branches of Iman.
Yeah. Yeah. So like for example,
Is there one that sticks out at you? Apart from the Haya one, because that was directed at me, I'm assuming.
probably the haya one. I mean, it's so many. It basically covers the length and breadth of the whole of Islam. That's what it is. If you actually look at it, it's all the practices of the heart, practice of the tongue, and practice of like actions of the body. So the things that you say, the things that you do, and the things that you are in your heart. For example, like sincerity, like fear of Allah, love of Allah. These all different aspects of Iman. So it's like, it's amazing. Like it's a summary of a book into 50 pages, roughly 50 pages, maybe even less, in Arabic, probably like 20, 30 pages, from a collection of 6-volume collection of 11,000 hadiths, compressed into...
From Bukhari.
No, for Imam Bayhaqi, he did this massive encyclopedia of the branches of Iman.
Wow.
So there's another Imam that wrote it before that, Imam Abu Abdullah al-Hadimi, rahimullah. He's the first one to write a 3-volume work on it, but there's other things in the book. Then Imam Bayhaqi came 50 years later. This is like 400 Hijri, so nearly 1,000 years ago. Then he came, he did this 6-volume encyclopedia on the branches of Iman, basically. And then Imam Qazwini came like 250 years later, and he turned it into like a treatise, like a small booklet, 30 pages. So you get the benefit of what the way I explained it to the students was, what do you need a Google Maps for?
To find your way around.
Yeah.
Exactly, to get from point A to B.
Yeah.
So you don't need to know how 3G, 4G, 5G works. You don't need to know how to the satellites, the rockets that took the satellites into space to to put into orbit the satellites for GPS. There's a whole system that was created for that. You don't need to understand mobile phones and the technology that goes into it.
Yeah.
But you're making use of all of that to get from point A to point B. So because your usage of that is that. Similarly, as what I said to them was that this the branches of Iman, the course, or any books that are written by great Imams who've exhausted their life in energy and decades of their life into producing masterpieces, they've basically made the Melways for you or the GPS for you. You just need to use it. You don't need to know all the insight. You don't need to know all the behind the scenes. You don't need to know behind the scenes. If you want to learn it, you can go and excel in that as well. But for your purposes, you might never get a chance to...
Everyday living purposes.
They've done all the work for you. So at least study the 30-page booklet to appreciate that one hadith. So that 11,000 hadith encyclopedia, just think about this. Bukhari is 7,000 hadith or so with repetitions, right? So that's 11,000. So it's like 1.5 times or almost double the size of Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari. So that is all a commentary of one hadith, the hadith we mentioned at the start.
SubhanAllah.
Sorry?
That 11,000 hadiths, the branches of Iman commentary, like it's a commentary on one hadith of the Prophet, which is that which I mentioned at the start. 60 or so, 70 branches, say La ilaha illallah, remove a harmful thing from the road.
That's amazing.
So it's like, that's how much our Imams of the past, Allah reward them, fill their graves with nur, that they... And then I talked to the students about then one alim came in Persia. They're all Persians actually, all these alims. He came in Persia. He turned that into a poem, right? And then Imam Zainuddin Malabari from southern India, he came. There's like Kerala.
Malabari is in Kerala.
So he took that poem in Persian to Arabic, and then Imam Bantani al-Jawi from Imam Muhammad Nawawi al-Bantani from it's just in Java, Indonesia. He was in 1898. He took that poem and did a commentary on it. So the poem is on like 2 pages, and it summarized all the 77 branches. And then Imam Bantani did a commentary on that in Arabic. He was like the greatest. He was the greatest alim of his generation in Makkah Mukarramah. He was called, the Egyptians called him Sayyidu Ulama Hijaz, the leader of the Ulama of Hijaz.
You know what's trippy about
Java.
All of this? These books were written over 1,000 years, and we still have access to them.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
And where it went from, Makkah, Medina to Persia, then to India, but not just India, the bottom of India.
Then Indonesia.
Then
came to Melbourne, Australia.
And now to Melbourne, Australia, PGCC.
SubhanAllah.
Now, we've got Google and stuff like that, but this is before printing presses, this is before any of that. So these books were written by hand as well. So the amount of effort that went into gaining this knowledge is phenomenal.
Speaking of that, I just had a thought about all the ulama that not just ulama, but like ulama, alims, whatever level that they're on, the time, the blood and sweat and tears that they put into these books, and then alhamdulillah for that, because it's something that stays there, it's reserved.
It's absolutely preserved, and the fact that you've got your chains of narration and the proof is there that these, like the Quran, these books are just like it's phenomenal.
Imam Bayhaqi, like the one who did the encyclopedic work 1,000 years ago, like he used to fast continuously every day. He used to fast for 30 years. That was his normal habit, to fast every day. So I mean, like they weren't just academics, like in the Islamic sense. They were like great, like abids, worshippers of Allah, awliya, friends of Allah. So
and you're along that chain now.
This is where it ends. It's qiyamah.
How many hours have you been fasting for, or minutes?
Astaghfirullah. Allah accept whatever we do. I don't know if we're on the chain, but to be on the chain is very few people in the world. Like one of our teachers said about the chain of hadith of his teacher said, on our chain there is no fasiq, there is no wicked or sinful person. Like a sinner is not on our chain, in the sense of a person that is known for his corruption and sin and so
Are
forth.
there chains of narrations with someone that's known for their...
There's a point he's trying to make, that every personality, the 30, 40 names that are there between us and Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Tirmidhi, because basically my teachers and their teachers and their teachers right up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the people that are on this chain, they're all Ahlullah, people of Allah. They're pious people.
Your teacher said that?
No, my teacher's teacher. So he was quoting Mawlana Subhan Mahmud rahmatullah alayh from Karachi. He's Mufti Munib's teacher, Mufti Ubaid's teacher. And he was saying that on our chain there is no fasiq, in the sense that everyone, if you look at them, look at the people of immaculate character, people of immaculate, and subhanAllah, Imam, just on a side note, Imam Bantani.
Sorry, I'm just thinking, you broke the chain.
No, the chain is not dependent on.
That was a joke.
So, for example, like an alim is, I get it. An alim today.
Don't take it personally, bro. It's all right. We love you.
Who's teaching?
You're Ahlullah, right?
Look, imagine one of the sheikh is teaching. He'll have thousands of students, but then out of those thousands, like one probably Allah will accept.
Yeah.
He will be the next chain, the link in the chain. Not everybody gets to be the link in the chain.
What's involved
so is Ahmed
in order
the link
to
in
be
your chain?
No, that's acceptance from Allah. That's something that.
So
that's the piety.
It's not something a human being can do.
No. It's they've done it by tawfiq of Allah. Obviously, it's not like we're not fatalist or nihilist or like we just leave it to the universe or whatever. No, it's those people that work so hard in their deen and in their taqwa and in their ilm.
Yeah.
Because it's those two things that required, like great piety, intelligence, memory, understanding and proper study. And then, of course, and if Allah accepts that, then Allah
what's the sign of Ahlullah?
Don't
tell me look in the don't tell me look. Don't tell me look in the mirror.
Let's
I'm
not
just
start
asking.
This is a masjid. We're talking the car park. We're in the car
I was
park.
setting him up for this nice mic drop moment, and he just killed it.
Yeah.
I was like, don't tell me look in the mirror.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any in Australia, but inshallah there are.
We're looking at one.
Yeah, mashallah.
Shaykh Lata.
Yeah. Wajid, I'm going to change
Allah
the name to
Allah make us from His people.
Oh, because I really meant it.
Allah make us from His people.
Ameen.
And
so with the Noor, there's many Noors that are. This is my segue. Tell me how it goes. There's many Noors that are being affected by the energy crisis.
Yeah,
because there's not enough lighting going around.
What exactly is a crisis in Australia? It's
Okay,
because we closed the damn coal power plants.
No, it's not.
These Labour policies are driving this country into the dark ages. Isn't it something like that?
No.
If we had the gas power plants open still?
We have enough
No.
energy, so electricity and gas, to last us generations.
What it is they're exporting it.
The problem is, that's right, they're exporting it.
Yeah.
Due to Ukraine or whatever you want to say, right? So it's being
And they're getting
exported.
better premium for it.
But what happened was,
Exactly.
as it was getting exported and the prices are going up, right? So most of it's getting sent out. Now these energy producers, so not the distributors, but the producers, also stopped making electricity locally. Now listen to this. This is the thing that, it's just not right, right? So they stopped making electricity locally.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because they can see that the government's going to jump in, Iman and all that, right? When the government directs these producers to increase their energy supply, so make more electricity basically,
Yeah.
the government subsidizes that and pays them more money. So it's just a money-making thing.
Yeah.
That's why AEMO stepped in and just went, right, we're taking over.
Yeah.
And look, you know what? They didn't do a bad job. Alhamdulillah, we had Labour in power.
I mean,
That's all I'm
been
going
that
to
long,
say.
yeah.
No, that's all I'm going to say,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise, it would have been a mess. Even the Snowy Hydro scheme is a mess, right? Everything's coming out of the woodwork, and they're trying. Look, I'm not saying whatever it is could have been, ScoMo could have done an amazing job as well, but, take that with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
at least someone's doing something about it.
Yeah, it's they were expecting blackouts here in Australia.
Even in New South Wales.
But I mean, because I watch Pakistani news and there's like 12, 14 hours of it's like a normal thing. They call load shedding. And
That's what they were thinking of doing here.
Sorry? Yeah. I mean, that's a shocker. Like
Could you imagine?
Especially if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Especially during the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, Like the podcast
That's it goes black right now. Everything goes dark.
Yeah. We
Romantic.
Now you understand why, it affects everything. Industry, factory stop.
Well, that was
In
the
Pakistan.
biggest thing.
That's the thing. Like, because now the new government came in, they didn't want to buy Russian oil, right? Because American put pressure on them. So now they're in a situation where India negotiated cheap prices.
And they're I think they're what's it called? Getting it through Iran and bypassing Pakistan or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not sure how, but
it's rail, freight, and trucks.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it is a disaster. Like, the petrol price in Pakistan has gone up just for being saying yes to the America. And bowing their heads, the new government.
हम भिखारी है बेटा.
Yeah, because that's the Prime Minister. We're beggars.
We're beggars.
That's
what he said. That's what he actually said.
He actually said that?
He actually said that.
Yeah. And he like humiliated Pakistanis. I mean, like it's
wow.
So because they are the puppets, like they brought in, it's a regime change operation. So they brought these puppets there. So they'll have to to put pressure on Russia. They will not accept they will not care about their own people. Like the price of petrol in Pakistan has doubled almost in a month.
What's at a barrel?
I don't have a clue what's over there, but
374 rupees. I just made that up.
Oh,
like Pakistan's inflation across the board's going up, but Australia is still okay. It's going up, but given there's a large war that's going on that's affecting everything, Australia is not too bad.
Compared to the rest of the world,
Pakistan's right. In the top 10.
And they're neighbors with Russia, basically.
Turkey's the second worst inflation in the world.
Yeah.
And who's the first? I'm just trying to remember who's the worst inflation. Zimbabwe, one of those countries. Zimbabwe.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
I was looking at the list of the highest. Pakistan made it to the top 10. Yeah. Yeah, at least they're good at something. I mean, this is the sad, unfortunately, the financial crisis.
And this is really why bad. We need to have crypto. Lata, talk to me.
Explain to us about the crash that's happening.
I mean, I think we spoke about this a few podcasts ago.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
The crash, this extreme.
Yeah, because remember how
everything was wiped
out?
Because
it happened a while ago. This crash, where they did an attack, because it was when Luna. This all began with Luna. Okay. There's a cryptocurrency called Luna. It went from about
200 something.
No, it was originally like $4 or $3, and then it bumped up to about $200 per coin, and then that went back. That basically got absolutely slaughtered down to nothing.
People took loans to buy Luna.
Yeah, there was one guy who took out. I was reading an article about 3 people. One person was lucky enough that he made money from it, but didn't he didn't sell his coins. He just sat there until they went back down to zero. So effectively, he had money and he lost it.
Okay.
And then there was this other guy who literally took out a loan. He took out a $400,000 loan, I believe, and then bought Luna just before the crash.
Oh no.
And there was another person who sold 2 mortgages.
Oh.
He sold his house and bought Luna.
Lost everything.
Yikes. Yeah. So. And this all began because of a particular hedge fund. Basically, what they did was they realized that Luna, the way it's structured, it has a parent cryptocurrency. So if they attack that will drive the price of Luna down. And so what they did was they attacked it using Bitcoin.
Mm. What does that mean, attacked it?
So what they would do is they would drive the price down. So you know what shorting is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in a similar way, they would short the particular coin, Yep. And then once you have a coin that's affected like that, something went from 200 to 0, it affects the whole space.
Yep.
Because people lose confidence in it.
Yeah.
And that's what's it's just.
So you think this is just a pure Luna cause?
Yeah.
What about any other external factors?
And then there's also, what's that other crypto that at the moment is in the news? The one that they've frozen all the accounts that you can't take your money out?
I think that's an exchange. It's not a crypto.
That exchange. Yeah. So that's BTC. Another thing. Like the idea that the exchange basically has frozen everybody's. Like they can't take it until the market stabilizes.
So how can people that are in crypto say it's decentralized when it's been frozen?
Well, what's been frozen isn't the crypto; it's the exchange has been frozen. So a company, someone came along and came up with this idea where we'll create a place or a platform where you can buy and sell your crypto and trade.
But in effect, it's the same thing. You can't take it out.
Yeah, but
because it's in exchange.
Yeah, so
if it was in a wallet.
Yeah, so if you know your crypto, and if you're going to invest, thousands of dollars, you should do some research and figure this thing out.
But the thing is, isn't everybody trading through exchanges?
Yes and no. So there's different options. Like you can use what's called nodes. So like if I have a node, all of us can use that node and just exchange on that little node.
Okay.
Which is basically, it's kind of like it's just the computer that runs the mechanisms of buying and exchanging. Mm-hmm. And you can do that yourself, or you can do it on exchange.
But I think reality is caught up with the reality of the financial market, how economies work. Economics is caught up with crypto, and that's that when there is overall the whole society and economic situation, there's actually a recession or a depression or whatever's coming.
Yeah.
Or we're already in it, and people go for safer. It happens not just it happens to the markets as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just crypto, but the crypto one is like a ridiculous level of loss of money.
It's because of the volatility. It's more so the volatility.
Yeah.
Because in the stock market, you don't have anything that goes from 200 to 0. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. And if it does, then there must be something very, 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 very shady going on.
Or the actual crypto itself is wrong. Like that's the thing. Yeah, that's my view.
Well, if it's wrong, why are they like the powers that be? Your central banks and your governments, they're creating their own version.
Yeah, but that's
bad.
That's,
why are they copying
more like a fiat currency.
Yeah, but they're literally copying the blockchain. They're going, oh, yep, okay, we'll do that, and
yeah, but they added
and call ourselves.
They added what's in the fiat currency, which is it's centralized. The government's actually regulating it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. See, like from an Islamic perspective, simple terms, this is capitalism at its purest, and capitalism purest is not Islamic, right? Islamically, markets are regulated. You cannot just you can't monopolize. You can't hoard. You can't. There's actually rules, and the state can come in actually break up monopolies. The state can come in. Islamic concept.
Yeah.
So the idea that like a pure non-regulated finance, like the markets are free.
Yep.
Like we believe in regulated free markets. We don't believe in We don't believe in command economies, like what the communists do, which is like it's totally state controlled. That's one extreme, like Marxist sort of.
We're in the middle.
Islam is in the middle.
Yeah.
The thing with crypto is it's like purely capitalism.
It's
purely greed.
Yeah.
And this is when I wrote that essay. Still have to hand it in.
Plug for the essay, was it?
Yeah, no. When I was researching and he studied the Islamic concepts of, there's a lot of problems with crypto. I know the crypto mufti bros. They are very those guys they're very quiet at the moment. Like they're very, very quiet at the moment. Like crypto bros in general, they're very quiet at the moment. And
whenever crypto's down, anyone that's involved just keeps their mouth shut.
Yeah, it's embarrassed. Yeah, silence is they're embarrassed by all the things.
Do you think it's embarrassment?
No, because there's nothing to talk about. What are you going to talk about? Losing money?
Yeah.
It's
got too many similarities to gambling. Yeah. Too many similarities to Ponzi schemes. Anyway,
wait.
you know where I
just ends it like that.
Lata has a right of reply on that.
Go for it.
I don't know. If you, the thing that I wanted to talk to you about was what you were when you were talking about the Islamic perspective, right? How the market's not free, or it's not decentralized. When you look at gold and silver, that's the most decentralized form of currency if you think about it, right? Because gold or silver, like there's no one. It's universally understood that gold is valuable. It doesn't need anyone to regulate it in the sense that, make sure that you accept this for an exchange of goods. Like most people generally will accept gold. Especially if we, let's just say if we lived in an Islamic society,
But fiat currency is not un-Islamic.
But how? That's the one thing that I don't understand. As how? I mean, I guess you have more knowledge than me.
You reckon?
Like how
crypto? No.
How is something that is completely worthless? Like our money is literally plastic. If we had to exchange it for something of value, it would have no value.
It's a big topic, but
Keep going.
Historically, there are fiat has existed historically. Fiat has existed before this century.
Yeah.
So in terms of copper coins and so forth and different means of exchange, even gold itself as a currency, not gold as in the metal.
Yeah.
Gold as a currency, that's been regulated throughout the whole history of Islam. It's state regulated. It's not regulated by people. People are not digging gold
how
because they're minted coins by state with a that's what you use in the market. The state dictates which coins are to be used or not used. So if you even see right from the beginning, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Arabs had two coins, gold and silver.
Yep.
Gold was regulated by the Romans. It came out of their mints. It didn't come out of Muslims. Didn't mint the coins till 2 generations later, almost.
Yeah.
Right.
So the dinars.
The dinar were Roman coins. The gold coins.
Is that right?
Yeah, dinar is Roman, and dirham was the Persians. So they were the two currencies that were in vogue in Arabia because they traded with the Persians. And they traded with the Romans. Right. In Yemen, because Yemen was under control of Persians. Right. Okay. So they had two trade was safe. They had the two journeys. Allah reminds the Quraysh of the two journeys that used to take place. International trade used to occur in Makkah Mukarramah. International trade is not a new concept. They used to send two trading caravans, one in summer and one in winter, one to Yemen, one to Sham. Sham was ruled by the Persians, the Romans. Sham is Lebanon, Palestine,
Syria and all
Syria,
that.
and Yemen, and was ruled by Persians. The two currencies that were in Makkah Mukarramah because of the international economy at the time were gold and silver. That's why you have two
Dinar
coins.
and dirham.
Because why would you have two coins, like with two different?
What if I bought in a coin from a different, like not Roman, but it's gold and it weighs the same?
No, the standard, because the mints were in the Roman lands and in Persian lands. They were standardized. So even when Muawiyah radiallahu anhu became Khalifa, when he became Khalifa, he tried to mint a new coin, a new gold coin, because there was a recent territories conquered by Muslims. Most of them were still Christians in Sham.
Yeah.
So when he tried to make it, like remove the cross out of it, there was a protest in Persia, in Sham. In Syria,
really?
There was protesting. So then he had to put it back on the, until I think it was Abdul Malik Marwan, then he was the first one to actually create a Muslim mint.
Yeah.
But there's a misunderstanding amongst some, or maybe they present, there was in the beginning of Islam, there's no centralized regulated currency. That's not true.
That's what I thought, yeah.
No, that's not true. That's actually, it was centralized. It just wasn't done by Muslims. And then you see in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he said the weights, the measures, like the volume, like your crops, grains are sold in, in volume, right?
Yeah.
Do it according to the Ansar. Why? Because the Ansar were farmers. They were more familiar with weights and with measures.
Yep.
The weights, referring to gold and silver, follow the weights of the Quraysh because they were traders. They were international traders. So they knew about the weight of gold and silver. And also there's another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu forbid the breaking of the coins.
Yeah, because lots of people did that.
Yeah, they used to break bits of it. Rasulullah sallallahu said, not me. If I remember correctly, it was a hadith. Either Rasulullah sallallahu said it, Allah forgive me, but I'm trying to remember, like either he said it or one of the Sahabas, don't break it because it loses its currenciness. Because it's not longer money. Now you're dealing with the gold pieces.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with you don't have a coin. So it becomes sort of like over time it degrades, the currency loses its thing. That's why money is reprinted, remade, melted down again and made so it's like stays as a currency.
Right.
So centralized monetary policy existed in the seerah and in the whole life of Rasulullah Sahaba radiallahu anhu. To say that there's no centralized currency, Muslims weren't running the coins, mints, but it was centralized.
I guess that's where the confusion comes from.
Yeah, I think they think that until that 2 generations later, when Muslims minted their own, no, the whole life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was gold and silver coins minted in Persia and the centralized, exactly. Yeah, that was the medium.
So what do you say to that, crypto bro?
No, that's one thing. So and then over historically, Muslims have adopted fiat currency was adopted. Fils, which is copper coins. You can read the history of that. Muslims adopted that as a means of exchange as well. So fiat currency is not wrong. It's not un-Islamic.
The problem.
The only reason it's un-Islamic is Imran Hussein keeps on going on about it. But if you look at what the scholars in Saudi, in the subcontinent, like where the majority of scholars are, they both agree on the same thing, that no, it is fiat currency, paper plastic money, is backed up by the strength of the economy of the state. Like gold and silver is regulated by the state,
but that's the
currency.
That's incorrect though. It's fiat currency is not backed by the state. It's literally backed.
It's regulated by the state.
Yeah, it's regulated.
They print it. Yeah,
it's regulated. But the thing that backs it is
Federal Reserves.
No, not even the Federal Reserves. It's literally force. If you look at your note, you pull it out, and there's a signature and a declaration that says this note is legal tender throughout the land of Australia.
Correct.
So it's a law. It's something that
correct.
It's something that's you have to use this. You have to accept it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can get in trouble. That's what it's backed up by. It's not backed.
So it's centralized.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is,
the purchasing power.
There's no value that backs it up. The thing that backs it up is
purchasing power that's in it.
No,
purchasing power is in it. Yeah,
but what gives it the purchasing power? The purchasing power is
look. We'll change.
No, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this.
No, I
keep going. Don't because a lot of people have asked about this, and for those that are listening,
look, gold and silver also suffers from inflation. That's a fact.
Yep.
Historically, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's one thing. So the same symptoms are there. It's doing the same thing. The second thing is that it's like. Historically, first they ditched before they ditched the gold standard and all that, paper money, or in that time there's no plastic, paper money represented, it was like a certificate of gold in
that's correct, yeah.
In the, where is it?
Everywhere.
In the Federal Reserve or wherever it was in America. Yeah, there was a physical gold somewhere that this represented.
You can turn in the note for physical gold.
The thing
theoretically.
But is that note worth anything?
Yes, what it's worth.
No. I'm asking.
I'm saying
is
yes.
it worth?
Yes.
Is it worth something? The note.
Yes. If the note says with this note I can get this, it's worth something.
But that's the same thing with fiat currency.
No, it's not.
No. Listen. With this fiat currency, you can buy this much gold.
Which is true.
It's not pegged to it. It's not just pegged to one thing, because it's actually pegged, or it's representative of the purchasing power in that nation of a basket of goods. That's where the currency get it. So it's not just gold. It's everything in the economy. Like the main basket of goods, actually a set basket of goods that it represents. Like, I don't know, milk, cheese, and gold, silver.
Rice.
Like it's a whole representative, all staples. So it is in principle the same thing.
Look, if you put it that way, yes, it's the same thing. But what I'm looking at is
let him finish.
Is what is the underlying thing that gives it its value? So for example, if I'm trading stocks, there's options where I can buy the stock without owning.
You're talking about currency.
I know. I'm just trying to because currency and like the market, it all plays together. It's a big jungle gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can purchase something without actually earning the underlying asset, and that to me doesn't seem like it's an Islamic thing, and that's where I see fiat sits at, right? Because the thing that gives it its purchasing power, it's not like, okay, this piece of paper is a contract for X amount of gold or X amount of valuable goods,
But it is, because like you said, you can go buy the gold.
Yeah, but just because the reason why you can buy it is because there is something else that gives it value that forces you to buy it.
But the same thing, gold and silver. If a country said our currency is silver, which happened in India, it happened in Muslim countries, it happened historically. Gold wasn't used, silver was used.
Yeah,
gold was like relegated to like something, it was a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So it was more valuable. So silver was like, we have pesa like the original currency in India was silver coins. So they used to trade. So if the state decided we're not going to use gold, we're only going to use silver, right? That's the state policy, and that it's got a stamp on it. Why does it have Queen Elizabeth's face on it? Why does it have the rulers? All money has that. And historically, Islamically, if you actually look at the coins, it has a Khalifa's image.
Yeah.
There was first coins that we had is Abdul Malik bin Marwan. One of the
it's got his image on there.
yeah. They removed it. Like after they never had it.
Yeah.
But there was actually a period where the coin was.
Isn't that putting your face on a coin? Isn't that like a political thing? It's like a political.
Yeah,
move?
of course, yeah. But then later generation, they were like more strict. The Abbasis, I think they were a bit more strict on it than images, and they removed it. There's no face on it, but they'll put the Khalifa's name on it. Like the Khalifa's name was there, like Kalima wasn't there, and the Khalifa's name and so forth. Point being, it's the same thing. This is what I'm saying. This overlaps are much more, except that having a piece of paper that represents gold only or silver only is not a realistic reflection of the rest of the economy, right? It's a while.
But it is because gold doesn't it holds its value, you know. If you went back in time, 60 years, and you took out a $20 note, $20 US note, you could buy a suit, and you can exchange that suit for an ounce of gold. Now, to buy a suit now, you know, how much is it? It's like 1,500 to buy like a proper suit, which is
bro, you can get one for $50, man.
No, but like if you're getting a decent suit, right? So it's about 1,500, which is the price of an ounce of gold. So the price of gold it maintains.
I reckon.
So you're saying invest in suits?
I reckon it's like you hold your ear from here, you hold your ear from there. It's the arguments against fiat. There is very little Islamic argument against fiat currency. Yeah, you can argue that.
My point is not Islamic. It's more of a it's a personal.
But we've got to look at Islamic, don't we?
Yeah.
Are you a gold bug? Like that's what they call it?
No, I don't have any gold. I don't hold gold or anything like that. I just because again, you can't beat gold. Like it's just if the whole world was on gold, we would have none of these problems that we have at the moment.
I like what Peter Schiff says. He said, make a cryptocurrency that's backed up by gold.
Yeah. Oh, that would be. MashaAllah.
People have made it. They've made a silver one and a gold one, but you need to have a proper, secure reserve like that, like Fort Knox. Fort Knox to do that properly.
Those bitcoins that you're talking about, they don't actually have physical gold.
What's that?
What they back it on is the price of gold, not actual gold.
Right. So it's pegged to the market price of gold, not physical gold sitting somewhere.
No, you won't be able to exchange it and get gold.
Yeah,
which is what you want. You know, if you can do that, then you know that it's.
Can I use crypto to go to Hajj? Can I go to Hajj right now?
I have a problem. I have a few problems with crypto. One of them is that is the gains from crypto halal?
Why wouldn't it be halal?
No. That's one of the issues. Because
do you really want to go there?
No. You're taking. You're basically you're in this Ponzi scheme.
That's all I'm saying.
Why do you keep calling it a Ponzi scheme?
Is it because many economists have called it Ponzi scheme? Nassim Taleb, Peter Schiff, others have called it. Like very senior economists have called it that. But and so like if you're going to a Ponzi scheme. Let's say an actual Ponzi scheme. All right, you put money in there and you make money out of it. Yeah. Where's that money come from?
Other people's losses.
They've taken their money.
But that's how the market works.
No. That's not how the market. Islamic doesn't. That's not how it works. Like you're taking somebody else's money, right, with no effort. Right, with no production, with no nothing.
I wouldn't say there's no effort. Is it?
No, there's no effort. There's actually nothing. When I say effort, I'm thinking there's no business.
Ah, yes, I see what you're saying.
There's nothing that actually has produced that profit.
Yep.
Right, you've basically taking other people's money, and you put money in, and you got more money back.
But you
without
can say
doing
that
anything.
about share trading.
No, share trading. Speculative share trading is problematic. There's a question mark on it. Ulama discourage it, but because the share is a part of a business that is doing actual production, making profit. It's actually part of a company.
But these cryptocurrencies are companies.
No, I understand. The speculative trade, like Mufti Taqi Sahib, I was reading his fatwa on this, that he said that speculative trading is permissible for the reason of that there is actually a real business going on making money. Now, you're buying the lows and the highs, the speculative aspect of it, even because the actual business is a legitimate business. Let's say they're making shoes.
Yeah.
All right. And the shoes, of course, is a halal business. And you put money in there.
As long as they don't use pigskin, right?
It's 100% halal shoes, all right? For God's sake, don't make things complicated. The shoes are halal. The business done in a halal way. You put money by a share of that business.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is buying a small part of the company, and then it generates profit, right?
Yeah.
That's generally what it's a. But the capital gain side of it, which is only through speculative trading.
Yeah.
You know, you buy. Since the actual business is a halal business, right? And you're doing, and it's a real business that's making money. And you went in there. Not that some ulama say it's not even permissible to do that, like do speculative trading in that. Like they will not consider. But Imam Mufti Taqi Sahib said that since the actual business halal, if you put money in there and then you make money, because in Islam,
within 30 seconds,
in Islam you expect
day
it to,
trading,
in Islam you expected to invest. You invest in a business, become part of the business, share the gains and losses. That's the real nature of business. Like it should be ethical, Islamically ethical. The speculative trade is problematic there, but here in crypto there is nothing else there. You only purely work on speculation.
It depends on the crypto because most of them are actually companies, full-fledged companies.
No. I'm saying what is the actual thing that you're investing in doing?
That's
Nothing.
So like for example, there's Cardano. Cardano has its own cryptocurrency called ADA. And what Cardano does is they have basically the whole business is data. So what they
No, we're not talking about the side things they're doing. We're talking about the actual crypto.
no, that's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. When they do what they do, it prints and mints a coin.
Okay.
That's how it works. So for them to say, let's just say for example,
but that does still don't make a difference.
Students need ID. Yeah,
I think this.
When a student when a student has his ID and whatnot, you know,
getting better.
When a student has his ID and
We're
everything,
talking about him interrupting all the time, like I am right now.
Yeah. When the student has his ID and it's all printed
Take
out,
3.
you know, and it's there on the ledger, a coin is minted.
See, DeFi, all this stuff, and NFTs, all this nonsense. And we're talking about purely about crypto. We're not talking about the crypto itself.
But you have to talk about it. It's like you can't.
It's linked.
You can't separate them.
This is a way to cover up these Ponzi schemes.
It's not, but he's not trying to.
You're not going to
convince.
convince.
No, we're not trying to convince you. He's not trying to convince you, but he's listening to your side. But you got to try and understand what he's trying to say.
These are like tangents that take away from the main.
But it's not a tangent.
No.
I don't think
I'll agree with
talking
you
about
that there are definitely some cryptocurrencies, and Wajid will know because I hate them. Yeah, they produce nothing and they do nothing. And it's
he's a big believer. I know that he's a big believer, and you've got to do something.
Yeah, and they literally are just like what you're talking about, right? It's purely speculative, and I agree with you in that.
Like Dogecoin.
Yeah, like Dogecoin, Shiba, all these coins. There's a few, and I can definitely see that because again they're not producing or doing anything or contributing to society in any way. Look, Dogecoin was a joke. Like literally a joke, you know, it was a meme, and then it became something. But people invested it, and
if you just stick to the crypto itself, like which is the crypto itself, and like
that's like saying if you stick to fiat
even if it's
yourself.
not a meme, even if it's not a thing, just you're taking other people are coming in. It has all the resemblance of a Ponzi scheme. It's all the resemblance.
Back to that.
So
Full circle.
All right, let me describe a Ponzi scheme for you.
Like Nassim Taleb, the economist, he wrote many books like Black Swan and so forth. Like one of the top economist lecturers in economics, he said it's an open Ponzi scheme that everybody knows that it's.
Are we talking about
Can I finish?
Sorry.
It's an open Ponzi scheme that everybody knows it's a Ponzi, and they're in it to wait for other people to come in, put their money in so they can take it out.
No.
This is what most people are doing. That's why
I disagree with that.
No, I completely disagree with that. Sorry, Malala.
I disagree with
you can
that.
disagree with it, but that's the reality of what most
it is not, because
people
also
in it.
you're talking about Kenny's in economics. So because that is the
Keynesian.
Yeah, that is the world.
Like with the idea of making money from something, I don't understand what's wrong with that. I don't understand what's wrong with investing in something and then
it's not an investment.
But it is.
It's not an investment.
What? Okay. What makes something
an investment? I'm not going to budge. This is not a fatwa of halal and haram.
You know what it is? He spent
yeah.
weeks writing this essay. Okay? He does not want to be convinced by you because he has to change the essay. Is that what it is?
No. I have very strong arguments against it in my essay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It took a lot of time.
I'm enjoying the current. I don't enjoy the people losing it, but I'm enjoying the
current state of crypto. Huh?
Oh yeah, and I can see it going further. It's going to get worse, inshallah.
Yeah.
So
inshallah it does. That's actually an opportunity.
Yeah, here we go, crypto bro. That's what they.
What do you mean it gets worse, bro?
That and the housing market.
Yeah.
They reckon 150k it's going to drop
Inshallah.
by 30%.
Oh, no.
We need what 40, man? We need 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% drops.
But then when that happens, the average person is going to suffer as well.
As long as it's paid off, they're all right.
Anyway, speaking of crises, so we talk about energy crisis, the crypto crisis, and
the Ponzi scheme crisis.
Now we have
the Mufti essay writing crisis.
Now we have the Hajj crisis.
But is it a crisis?
It's not a crisis.
I don't think it's a crisis.
Well,
it's a crisis for the Hajj operators.
Yeah, which I don't have any. I mean, most of them, they've made their money and they've done well, mashallah. So Allah put barak in their world. But
I mean,
the people that are going Hajj, I sent an article in the group, the WhatsApp group, about it was ABC News, and about what's happening. Like 1 month out from the trip of a lifetime,
it's pretty.
They changed the rules. Number one, number two, they sent all the Hajj operators packing. Like they've gone, they're probably, if this is their business, they've got to do something else, if their sole business was this.
Were there many operators whose sole business was this?
Yeah, there's many. Yeah.
I know at least 2 people personally. This
was their sole business, and they were able to survive the whole year, pay your bills, everything from this.
Yeah. You don't know how much these guys are making, man. They're making somewhere between, depending on the size of the group. Like you as an individual, like if you have 50 people, that's your full-time job.
Yeah.
Like that's a full-time job salary.
You make $1,000 on them.
Yeah, at least. But they're not that nice.
We always find out at the last minute about all these amazing businesses, man.
Yeah, they make a good premium on it. So if you have like 200, you're making in the hundreds of thousands. And then if you got
profit.
Yeah.
And you would easily get 200 people in a year trying to go to Hajj.
No. I remember when these groups used to beg people, and there was, when there was a bit of when the groups wouldn't get filled up, like all these quotas, each group had its own quota, like 200, 50, 100, whatever.
Yeah.
When they didn't get their quota, they would never fill their quota. So then they used to beg smaller groups, Hajj, like tour operators, like you go with us, and we'll sell you the visas. And like we'll give you 30, and you pay us $500 or $300 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
they used to, because they couldn't fill the quota they had because there was so many less Hajjis going from Australia, right? So there was like a quota of 4,000 total, divided amongst like 30, 40 groups, whatever. I can't remember the number. And then they, or 10 groups or 15 groups, and then they will never fill it. So what happens is smaller groups will come in. Look, we'll take a group with you. We'll organize our own accommodation. We'll do everything ourselves, ticketing and stuff. We'll just buy the visas from you. And then in Mina and Arafah, Muzdalifah, we stay with you in the same tents, basically. It's the same accommodation almost for everybody. What happened was, as time went, people started going Hajj more regularly. The quota got filled up. Demand, supply and demand. These Hajj operators became greedy. In my opinion, this is, I think they became greedy. Many did. I'm not saying every Hajj operator is bad. There might be very sincere brothers and sisters doing good work and so forth. But industry-wide, it was well known. These practices are well known.
Yeah.
So what they did was that now that their groups are getting filled up, and if you have like 4 smaller groups, outside groups that come in, like they want to buy your visas. Now there's no competition, right? So you no matter what, your group's going to get filled up.
You've got a monopoly.
You got a monopoly. So that's what they started to do. They started to bump up the prices.
Yeah.
Because there's no repeat customers.
Yeah.
Right? This is a once in a lifetime thing. This guy's not going to, he maybe write an article against you in a local newspaper. He might event at the local Imam. He might do things, but that's pretty much, it'll be like one guy here, one guy there. They're not worried of bad PR, what do you call it? Market.
Yeah.
They don't care because not everybody in Australia is going to know your group enough.
Yeah.
But they're going to come with you anyway. And subhanAllah, what happens? As they had the monopoly, is an oligopoly, whatever you want to call it, but they had limited.
Was it a Ponzi scheme?
Huh? Supply and demand.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of that happening. So there was a lot of price gouging. It's true that in Australia, I know for a fact there's price gouging. Hajjis were getting ripped off for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about other countries.
People would literally go to a different country and go to Hajj.
Why are people going to India?
Yeah, I had a friend do that.
Yeah. People go to Pakistan.
He went for Umrah for like $1,400.
Yeah. So people were, because of the price gouging and all that, I think Allah put in some Saudi's heart, prince's heart, and he said, we should take a cut of this.
Yeah.
Like why are we giving to outside? The only weakness in their problem, I mean, they've stuffed up in terms this year, by delaying it so long. So if you're booking tickets, they're going to be super expensive in the current crisis as well. The energy crisis.
So you've got to book your own plane tickets?
No, you go through their websites and they've sort of forced you to go with Saudi Airlines. Someone was explaining to me today, because there's a few brothers I'm talking to who are going through the whole experience. They got picked out of the lottery. So it's a lottery system, number one. And number two, supposed to be random, I guess. At the other end, there's some Saudi guy sitting with a hat, and he's pulling out. I don't know what type of
and the winner is
what type of system has. And then you're supposed to. They have packages like silver, gold, bronze, or whatever.
What is that?
Different packages of what type of hotels.
So what is a gold package?
Level service. That's all good.
Tour of inside the Kaaba.
That's fine. The ticketing you have to go through Saudi Airlines. The problem is for Australia, Saudi Airlines doesn't come here.
Yeah.
So then it's you can go through some other airlines like Emirates or something, So it's like it's a very inconsistent. It seems easy in theory, but with any IT system, because it's heavily dependent on IT, especially rolling out on such a large scale, it seems to be.
And you can't do practice runs with it. How are you going to do a practice run?
Yeah, you can't.
So they basically have taken the whole supply chain from beginning to end. They've actually the Saudis have gobbled it up.
So what about the hotels on the other end? The hotel operators?
Everything is through these packages.
Wow.
Okay, so the Saudis will pay these hotel operators.
Yeah,
and all
like
that
you
in
pay.
Saudi.
So somebody told me today the Hajj that they're going is him and his wife, 16,000 each.
Each?
Yeah, so 32,000, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is.
I thought prices were meant to go down.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I was thinking. That the thing maybe it's through the energy crisis, but the ticketing seems to be extremely exorbitant because, like, 6,000. If it's $6,000, the $5,000 component is apparently of that is tickets. That's not that. Like to travel to Dubai and back, or Qatar or Kuwait and back. Kuwait and here to here is the same distance as to Jeddah.
Yeah.
Like why are they charging? So they must at every turn apparently there's a lot of fees and there's a lot of markups and so it's like
so instead of the Hajj operators gouging, the Saudis are gouging.
It seems like they're hopefully by next year. That's why people are advising not to go this year, go next year. Things should be ironed out by then.
If we're alive.
Yeah. So unlike accepting those brothers and sisters, despite the prices, they want to go.
Mashallah.
And they've been holding out for 3 years, 2, 3 years because of COVID. I'll accept the intentions.
I mean,
$16,000 in Australia is like, for a normal wage is about a third of a wage of a year or something like that.
Yeah. Well, my mum's wage 1 or 2 weeks.
I wish. But it's meaning that it's still not as bad as people in poor countries, how much they have to save for decades. So I'm not saying to justify their price gouging.
Do you know how much it is overseas, like say go from Malaysia or India or Pakistan?
I'm not sure.
That would be interesting to find out.
The thing with those countries is they negotiate as a block. Our individualism is our downfall.
Yeah.
The Indonesia, Malaysia, they operate at a national level. They have special access, like 200,000 Hajjis they're bringing. So whatever the Saudi services,
and the government runs all that. That's right. Yeah.
Their government runs that. Like
Yes.
Indian government runs that.
Yeah.
Indonesians run that. The Pakistanis, 200,000 Hajjis. Turks are famous for being the most organized, 80,000 Hajjis or 100,000 Hajjis. Nigeria, these are the big ones. Like they're huge. Like so when they get like they get the lion's share of like even where they locate their camps and so forth. That are done specifically because they're the majority of the Hujjaj. We are individualistic, so we got our individual treatment. It could work because the Umrah works fine. The Umrah, individual Umrah, you book your own ticket, visa online, book your own hotels.
Yep.
So this is sort of like but the thing is, what the Saudis probably have to do, because people that go, they go Hajj, they go with a group.
Yep.
The groups usually have a session, 1 or 2 sessions. Yeah. Before that, have a meet and greet. They know the operator and a person. They've met him, like actually in Australia. They've had a workshop.
Yep.
Right. Then that operator is with them from here to Saudi. Right. They travel with them together on the same flight. And they walk them through the whole process at each step.
Yep.
There's a sheikh there usually, and he guides them through the religious things, where to make ihram, etc. Then they arrive over there, and then go to accommodation and so forth. Over there, I can understand they'll have sheikhs, they speak English and all that, and they have people like what the travel agents do, they can do over there.
Yep.
My concern was that the Hajj, that's why I'm doing a Hajj this weekend. On Saturday in Doncaster, I'm doing a Hajj lecture because I realized that the groups are not going. They have no incentive to do Hajj lectures. So no one's doing it. I think Mufti Ziad did one last weekend. Then some brothers asking me, and so then I said, "Oh, we'll do."
So do you want to say what time? I think that's important.
It's after Isha, 7:30 p.m. at Ummah Centre in Doncaster East. This is in Melbourne, obviously. In Melbourne, Doncaster East, Ummah Centre, where I do Imamat. And so after Isha, 7:30 is Isha. After that, immediately after that, an hour and a half session covering Umrah, because you usually do Umrah first, then you do Hajj, and then you do Ziyarah, how to visit Medina Munawwara. So
basically the A to Z of Hajj, from the time you leave to the time you arrive back.
Yeah, inshallah. So the thing was that the Hajj operators have not invested it. So then the masjid and imams and
you should say, sorry to interrupt, but you should send out some WhatsApp stuff on that as well.
Already have.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah, already have. Alhamdulillah. So anyway, but the way the Saudis can make this work is that the groups will probably travel on the same flights, right?
Yeah.
So what they would have to organize is send their representative through the embassy in each city and organize Hajj lectures. And when the people are traveling from here, they make sure they group them together on flights. And so
how can they group them together when they're booking their own tickets?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can book
by country.
No. Eventually, that would have to happen. They have to add. They'll have to hire local.
They'll have to become the Hajj operators.
Yeah,
the Saudis.
No.
They become the Hajj
They only
operators.
need to do one. Yeah. They need to come here to do the Hajj lectures in Australia if the imams don't do it, or pay the local imams to do it.
$16,000.
Yeah,
couple of Hajj.
We want to cut as well. We want to be part of the price gouging. Astaghfirullah. So but I can see that because operators before they leave, they only do two things. They do a Hajj lecture and they're with you when they travel right up to Makkah, right? So as long as you have someone here to do the program, and the second thing, Saudi government, please hire me. I can have great ideas how to improve your services, inshallah.
And me as well.
Yeah.
Me and Lata are really good with Ponzi schemes.
Yeah. So I mean that's in my view it could work out, but the inefficiencies of those countries and the amount of people that hire at the other end, the other end, and those countries have, when it comes to they're very slow to improve things.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know how to say it.
But you know what? I have to say with Saudi though, I don't think that's the case. Not so much anymore. A lot of their youth have studied overseas. So you've got guys that have studied overseas.
That's
and
true.
Gone back.
But they haven't. They're still young. They're still not in those positions where they can actually make a difference.
They are in the positions where they can make a difference. Yeah, it's just above them.
Yeah,
they've got all these managers or whatever that sit on a couch and drink their tea and eat their dates. But these young guys are the ones that are the movers and shakers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will happen sooner rather than later. Because Saudi's invested heavily in its youth. I mean, the majority of Saudi is youth.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think by bringing the industry totally internalizing it, they're taking the whole supply chain internally, and they got jobs for their people.
Yeah, that's right. They'll have jobs for their youth. And these young guys, I think inshallah, we'd be pleasantly surprised.
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Right, because the talent is there, the knowledge is there. Now it's the execution. Because I've met Saudi students here, bro. Some of these guys are
they're pretty
quick.
On. Yeah,
mashallah, very switched on. There's some that like to party, but then there's ones that are really switched on.
Speaking of imams, have you guys seen this?
What is it? What was that?
What?
Can you
just look at the imam.
Can you rewind? Bro, rewind that. I want to see that again. Make sure you
had a heart attack. He had a heart attack.
Can you rewind
he
that? I was not prepared for that.
He thought Israel alayhi salam came to visit.
It's called Qari Gets Scared by the Listener's Ecstasy. I'll play it again.
Yeah. And you're going to put it in the video, in the podcast?
Yeah, I'll put the video.
I'll put it in there.
No, it's the data's gone. But anyway,
do it again.
So,
you
no,
can't.
yeah. The internet's off. So.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Anyway, that was enjoy. Last thing before we
Allah.
the last thing he held his he's laughed and he mashallah he's a pro. He came
he just kept going.
yeah like he got back into it. He had a chuckle with the guy.
Here's one for you.
What the hell was that? Like,
Here's one for you. Google AI.
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How
become
scary
sentient.
is what the hell is going on in these
you
little labs?
You guys saw that, yeah? The one up there.
There's mad scientists.
That stuff is
Sitting-
scary, yeah.
Right, I remember speaking to these guys.
He's
they
saying
were-
it's already sentient.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was these guys I was speaking to once, the IT guys, and we are just having a laugh about this.
Yeah.
This was like 3 years ago, and they said that they'd made it was either Google or Microsoft in some lab not connected to the outside world. They had 2 programs, and they got these programs to talk to each other.
That was Facebook, yeah.
Right? They had these Facebook, so they had these 2 programs talking to each other. Then the programs made their own language to communicate to each other.
Yeah, they had to shut
And
it
they
down.
just unplugged everything. Like,
Yeah,
this is the
Terminator.
but that's what I'm saying.
Skynet. Yeah.
It's pretty freaky.
Allah knows best.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a real AI, then I want to go give it dawah. I want to give it dawah and just see how it reacts.
Yeah, because if it is sentient, then it could comprehend these complex ideas and can
Do we?
Subhanallah,
But do you want a sentient AI out there?
I don't think
what if
think it's sentient. I don't think it'll ever be sentient.
what if an AI comes out and says it's Muslim?
It doesn't have to. Oh, then it's
Terrorist.
tough.
He's a terrorist.
He's a terrorist.
It's a terrorist AI.
So, unplug it
Yeah.
straight away. Oh
Yeah.
no, they're even taking over
We don't
our
want these
computers.
Muslim AIs in our country.
in our computers.
Yeah. And they start talking to all our computers and changing them.
And then Pauline will come out. It's trying to make all our programs Sharia compliant.
Yeah, just imagine that Skynet is a
Astaghfirullah.
Terminator's a Muslim. Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm going for Dhuhr.
Yeah. Like,
Inshallah,
yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
War stops Salat time.
Yeah, you know what? You just don't want those takfiri AIs, you know? They make everyone kafir. You know?
All the AI start fighting. Actually, you know what? If the AI is Muslim, they're all just going to start fighting against each other. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Subhanallah. All right, we'll call it a night.
What about the grandmas? We got to talk about these 2 grandmas.
We'll talk about it next week, inshallah.
All right, inshallah.
I got to go for class, so
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And remember, crypto is not Ponzi scheme.
it's an opinion. Inshallah, you'll get back your losses, inshallah. You know.
Ameen.
Yeah. No. Like
Both of us just pure ikhlas.
look, there's ulama that are for it, there are ulama that are against it.
Alhamdulillah.
The ulama that are for it have egg on their face at the moment, but you know, Allah make it easy for everybody, inshallah. And Allah make all the difficulties of the ummah.
We said some serious ikhlas with
especially in
that.
Pakistan and other places.
Ameen.
Allah
Yes.
make easy for the Muslim.
And make dua for the Afghanistan as
Yes,
well, the
and for
earthquake
the
that's
Afghans,
happened
Yeah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
there. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.